Technology Teatime, where we remind ourselves and educators around the world how we use technology to increase connections with our students and with each other. Today's special guest is Aaliyah Tyner-Mullins. Dr. Tyner-Mullins is a specialist in innovative educational models and writing for emerging scholars in the social sciences and author of several books on these topics. She is assistant professor of sociology here at Gutman Community College, CUNY. Aaliyah, welcome, and thank you for stopping by and giving us a few minutes of your time. Can I pour you some tea?
Sure. Thank you for having me.
No problem. So, Aaliyah, you were a founding faculty member here at Gutman. What's your perspective on the role of technology in our innovative curriculum?
Well, I think that one of the goals of our curriculum is to prepare students for whatever it is that they want to go on to after they're finished here. And I think technology is a big part of that. We think of our students as being very connected and being very able to access all types of information and being able to do all sorts of things with technology. But it's interesting how many of our students come and are not able to find Microsoft Word on the computer. And so I think that there's a particular type of technology that they're very accustomed to, and then there are other parts of technology that they are unfamiliar with. And I think that it's our job to help connect them with those things. And part of that happens through the things that we do in the class, and also things that we ask students to do outside of class. And and I think it's innovative because we do have access to these things, and a lot of students come from schools where they might not have had access to these types of technology, and so the fact that we are giving them these tools and teaching them how to use them, I think, is very important.
So it kind of puts the production of knowledge sort of in their hands, in a sense. If they know how to use these technologies, then they know where to find the knowledge. Then
exactly. So like when I do statistics, for example. I use Excel, although I personally use SPSS when I do statistics. With the students, I use Excel because I feel like that's something that, one, they'll have access to. So Excel, you'll find on any computer, you won't necessarily find SPSS. But then also learning the Excel skills means that they can then apply those skills in the workplace or at home. And several of the students actually came up to me and said, thank you for teaching me this tool because I can use this in a lot of other places besides just in this classroom.
Excellent, and that's what we're all about here. Would you tell us another story, maybe about how you've seen students sort of making connections between their lives?
Yeah, well, I think that that what you said about being knowledge producers, to me that's very important, that students are able to take ownership over the knowledge that they have and to feel powerful with that knowledge. And so there are a variety of different ways that I encourage that in the classroom and also during students' presentations. But I think one or two ways that I've used technology to do that is using the ePortfolio as sort of a database of student knowledge. And so in my ethnographies of work course last year, students created a database of interview questions. And so in each class, they would come up with interview questions, they'd put them into ePortfolio, and then they would have this huge repository of interview questions that they could all then have access to. And so it allows them to take this ownership over this knowledge and to also share that knowledge with their classmates. And sort of similarly, during Summer Bridge, we do this exercise where we ask the students to give questions that about Gutman that they might have, because obviously they've all just started. Some of them have questions, some of them have answers, and so we ask them go in, put some questions, create some answers, and then they kind of have this frequently asked questions about Gutman that they've created, but they've been able to use their knowledge and demonstrate their knowledge to each other. And then also, obviously, just the general use of the ePortfolio system means that they have this audience of however large they want that audience to be. So it may just be the class, it may be Gutman, it may be the world, but they can create these artifacts that then can be shared with these large audiences.
Right, so it becomes sort of like this social experience. Mm-hmm. Technology is as social and connecting, and sometimes we think of technology as so alienating and sort of individual, mm-hmm. but I love that example about how here we use it to sort of connect and have students working together and connecting with each other. Wonderful. So if people watching want to find out more about these kinds of ideas that you're sharing with us, where do they go?
Well, I tend to feel like the best way to find out about it is to see it in action. And so, I'm going to, promote myself and my colleagues a little bit and say, if you go to our the zombie course that we taught a couple of years ago, We have this very robust e-portfolio that we created with lots of student work in there and lots of different ways that they could use the e-portfolio. So we sort of have like, a more kind of encyclopedia kind of version of it. And then there's one that's based on newspaper articles. And so I think that going to those and seeing those examples can give you ideas of the types of things that you can do with it. In addition, my Ethnologies of Work e-portfolio is also something where I feel like I did some innovative, interesting things in there that I'd love for other people to go in and try them out and, make changes to them and think of new ways to do similar things.
Okay, so just to clarify for some of the viewers who may not know about the zombie course, because it was a pretty amazing course, that's where there were 3 professors, right? You as the social science professor.
Right. So the full title of the course is The Social Construction of the Apocalypse, Infectious Diseases and Literary Dystopias. And the rise, the rise of zombie terror in the 21st century.
Wow, I love that title. We here at Technology Teatime like really long titles with colons. So.
Yeah, so there were 3 professors teaching it. So there's social science, there was a biologist, and there was an English person. And we each taught for the students for about 4 weeks, and they moved throughout the 3 modules. And at the end, they created a final project that was based on a social institution that would have to be rebuilt after an apocalypse. An infectious disease that has some sort of relationship to kind of mythical creatures, and then a short story about a dystopia.
Wonderful. I'm sure everybody was going to be checking that out right now. Well, thank you so much for stopping by and talking to us a little bit about technology. We really appreciate it. And I hope to see you again soon. If you'd like to learn more, talk more, be a guest, or have a cup of tea, please don't hesitate to get in touch.